Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. And tonight, I'm your host, Bobby Butler, and our legend segment tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we got a true legend from South Florida. This man was one of my college teammates, man, one of my favorite teammates of all time. FSU great, Pittsburgh Steeler, Mr. Harvey Clayton. Harvey, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, man, anytime for you. Anytime for you.
Hey, man.
My role model.
You like you still ready to play. You like you still can go, man.
I can't do anything anymore. I had no birthdays, man.
Hey,
birthdays.
When I think about how old I am, I know you're just a couple years behind, right?
Right. Right.
So, man, welcome, man. It's so good to have you on, man. One of the things about our history at FSU, it's been a great history. And, to be honest with you, Harvey, we talk about, I've talked to a lot of guys on this show. I talk about DB University. I talk about all that. But I want to start with you from the very beginning, right? And I want to ask you a couple of questions. How old were you when you started playing football?
I think 7 or 8.
So you started very young.
7 or 8.
Okay.
And I played running back all the way through high school.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I played running back.
That's why you had them feet, man. That's why you had them feet.
I watched you.
Man, no, you had them feet, Doc. You had them feet. Hey, so let me ask you this question now. So you played both ways in high school, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. Did you play corner or safety?
I played. If they had a good wide receiver, I went on that wide receiver.
Okay, all right.
So I probably their best guy most of the time.
Okay, cool, man. Cool. So, man, one of the things I always talk about, there was a book written by this man some years ago called Outliers. And it's a self-help book. It's a book that talk about principles and some of the keys to success. And one of the things, the main gist in this book was this. If you want to be great at anything, you got to put the time in. And he equated to 10,000 hours. So when you get 10,000 hours in, and doing something, you're going to be great at it, right?
Right.
And so when I think about guys like you and myself, I started playing when I was 9 years old, right? And I started playing and never missed a year until my last year in the league. And so you think about the time that was put in developing that skill, over time. I don't know about you, but see, I started dreaming to be a pro when I was 9 years old. I was looking that far at a young age because I saw Gale Sayers in a game. And, if you ever saw Gale Sayers play, it's the most exciting thing you ever seen in your life.
Wow.
And I never forget saying to my dad, that's what I want to do, right? And so without knowing, I go to my room and I write on a piece of paper, I'm a pro football player, right? And the rest is history, man. From that standpoint, I always saw it that way, even though I was a long way away from it. So with you started playing when you were young, Pop Warner, or youth football. And then from there, you played high school. Tell me a little bit about your journey. And then also tell me this, were you a dual sport guy?
Well, when I first started, I started playing football, but baseball was my first love.
Okay. Wow.
And I played baseball in high school. I got drafted coming out of high school.
Okay.
To play baseball.
Okay.
So I decided to not play baseball. I came to Florida State, and I thought I could continue there.
Okay.
But Jack Stanton brought me in the office and said, "Look, you can't play baseball here." And the rest is history.
Now, you didn't say Coach Ballard. You said who?
Jack Stanton.
Hey, listen, man.
He called me in there and said, "Harvey, you're on a football scholarship." So the rest was history.
Well, you know what he was doing. He really was circumventing Coach Bowden, right? Because I'm going to be honest with you, had you got to Coach Bowden, he probably would have allowed you to play.
Well, I didn't know. I couldn't get to Coach Bowden. Jack Stanton walked into his office and he said, "No more." He said, "Leave that alone."
Well, so we had that in common because what happened with me, Harvey, you know, in high school, I played football, of course. I played basketball and I ran track. And so the end of my sophomore year, before you came, I was me and my roommate, Big Walter Carter, went to Tully Gym after spring practice was over to play basketball one day. And so we went to the gym. Nobody was in Tully Gym, right? So man, we came outside, we looked across the street, and we saw all these people at the track. So we just, you know, we went over there to see what was going on. They were having intramural track. And so I went over there and I said, man, I'm gonna get in this long jump, right? I took one jump and won the whole long jump. And Coach Roberts was standing by the long jump pit. And he immediately said, I gotta have you on the track team. I gotta have you on the track team. I said, well, you talk with Coach Bowden. You know, if he said, okay, I'll long jump.
Yeah.
I was afraid of the speed that was on the track team because we had some real dudes on the track team back then.
Yeah.
And so he talked with Coach Bowden, and they started letting me travel indoor. And you know, Jack Stanton wasn't having it though. I mean, he didn't like that. So what he did, Harvey, I was on the track team, but he made me do all the football stuff first before I go to the track. Wow. So I can tell you, my junior year, we had a scrimmage on a Saturday. And you know how long we used to scrimmage in the spring? We were out there all day, right?
Yeah, 30 periods.
Oh, we were out there all day.
Yeah.
And so after the scrimmage, I had a track meet that night. I was running 100, 200, long jumping, and running the 4x1. And I ended up pulling a hamstring running 100. Now I can't do nothing for nobody, right? But Jack Stanton.
Yeah.
You know, but I can say this too, being the guinea pig, because I was the first one of his guys to run track, right? Or tried to. Later on, guys like Dion and Dexter, all those guys, they just let them go.
Yeah.
No mat drills, no spring football, just go run track.
Right.
Jameis Winston played baseball, just go play baseball. Dion was playing base. They were doing everything.
Yeah.
But we were the first ones, so it was really difficult for them to just let us go.
Well, that was tough. I remember trying to. Well, I didn't have the speed you had, but everybody said that you was fast and you got it from track. So I wanted to get it on the track because they say you got fast from the track.
I did.
I always had a little speed, but not your speed. And I wanted to go out and run a track.
Right.
And I think I ran like 10-8 intramurals one time.
Mm-hmm.
I was a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I could go out the track, but I think they had Mike Roberson. He was
the dog. He was a beast in the room.
Real speed.
Hey, so I grew up when I was in high school. I never forget. I was in the 10th grade, and I qualified for the state track meet, right? So I qualified in a relay, and I go, and I see Yusuf Maktir break the world's record in the 100-yard dash. Immediately, and I wasn't even running because I ran the next day. I got scared. You know, I got scared because the guys I knew about more than Maktir was Mike Roberson. I knew about the Johnson twins from Tampa, right?
Yeah.
You know, all of them was at Florida State.
Wow.
And so, man, I was so scared, man. I never get it. So, but I'll be honest with you. When I got on the track team, the first meet, I was just long jumping. And then I started thinking, I said, we run the 60 meters, right? I said, they can't beat me that far. You know, I came to that conclusion, man, they can't. If they beat me, they ain't going to be that bad, right?
Right.
So I asked Coach Roberts, can I get in that race? And I finished 4th in the race.
Wow. And
then the next meet, my second meet, I won in Montgomery, Alabama. I won it. But Mike Roberson didn't run that day.
Wow.
I won it. And that, I can't tell you what that did for my confidence.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I can do this, right?
Wow.
And the rest is history. But when I was at Florida State, I was on a great track team. We finished 3rd in the country my junior year. And I was on the 4x1. I was a leadoff leg in the 4x1. Kevin Johnson was the second leg. Mike Roberson was the third. And then Walter McCoy was our anchor guy.
Yeah.
And so that team right there, we were almost, we never broke 38, but we was close to breaking 38. We was like, yeah, we were like,
you guys.
Yeah. So, it was tough, but, good days. So, man, all right. So let's talk about it. So I remember when you came to Tallahassee in 1979, that was your first year, right?
Yes.
Fall of 79. I remember watching you in practice, and I go, oh, man, we got somebody, right? We got somebody. Because, see, when I came in, Bobby Jackson, who was the guy, and Ivor Joe Hunter, right? But Bobby Jackson was the guy, right? And so Bojack was gone. 1 year, I played 1 year with Bojack, but his whole senior year, he was injured. Right. And so I got a chance to play in some games, like that, on and off. And so I got a little bit of experience. And then my sophomore year, they were all gone. And so all the young bucks got a chance to play, all of us, me, Keith Jones, Monk Bonasart, Reggie Herring. All of us were sophomores starting and playing. So we got a lot of reps early. And then when you came the next year, because, James Harris was really a safety.
Yeah.
I'm going, oh, we got a guy. See, I thought you was going to be in the starting lineup your first year.
Man, that was a hard corner. That was mainly for run support.
Mainly for run support in that boundary. That's right.
I was like you. I was 150 pounds.
Right. That's right.
Trying to take on those blocks.
Yeah.
And I was 5'9". I was been 5'7" playing that hard corner. Sticking my head in there because you have to stick your head in there.
You had to get in there, right?
Run around.
Oh my God, that boundary corner.
I can't run through these guys. I remember that hard corner.
That hard corner was something, man. It was something, man. But I watched you do your little thing, and I started to emulate you, and and I said that's the corner I want to play. Oh, absolutely. Well,
wide side of the field,
right?
A lot of space.
I did open space, exactly.
Yeah, and it worked out.
Well, to me, that's the hot seat too. I mean, you're the cover guy, and those skills that we learned in college, and being on the type of team that we had that threw the football a lot.
Yeah,
we got a lot of good work in practice.
Oh yeah. Well, we always had pre-practice now.
Exactly.
He'll bring us out 30 minutes before.
Right.
And we have to work on footwork drill then. And then start all over again when the team come out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we earned out time to get there.
Yes, we did.
I remember those days. Man.
Oh, man, it was hard, man.
Yeah, I remember those days. When I got recruited, they was telling me, man, they got a guy just like you. Bo Jackson. Jackson. I want to see this Bo Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good guy.
Man, great guy. And just think about it though. When I came in as a freshman, he was the guy. And so, even though I know for me, I was dreaming since I was a little kid about playing pro, but being a freshman and then at the end of your freshman year, you see guys you're playing with get drafted.
Yeah.
And not only get drafted, because Bojack, when he got drafted by the Jets, he was an instant starter.
Yeah.
So at my second year in college, a guy that I just played with the year before was on TV and doing it well.
Yeah.
And so I can't tell you what that did for me, thinking that I really do have a shot. If I keep going, I'll have a shot.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something now. Bojack was shorter than me. I gotta say, Harvey, he's got to be the most explosive cornerback that I ever played with, because he was so good against the run.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was special against the run.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he was in the NFL, he was making plays, man. Oh man, he was very physical, right?
Yeah.
And he had the speed to be a cover corner. So he was a complete guy. And so, I had a chance to play with him for a year. And then Ivor Joe was another guy who I really looked up to, because when I came in as a freshman, Ivor Joe took care of me, right? He was a guy that took care of me. He kept me straight, and just watched over me. When I was a freshman, I really appreciated that about him, being that kind of leader in my life.
Yeah.
And like I say, we got a chance to play a lot. And so playing a lot, we were ready. And so by the time my junior and senior year, we were really playing. And so, well, how was it for you when you came in, to be able to see for a year or two and then get in the lineup? How did that help you?
Well, one time I didn't think I was going to stay.
Really?
Man, me and Jack Stanley kept saying, man, this guy, he will run to the ball. If he don't run to the ball, I'm going to run him out of here. I remember he brought me in his office and he said, look, you're going to have to go another side. And I say, that's fine.
Right.
But, we talked
mm-hmm.
and we got a good understanding. And
right.
He said, look, if you do what you need to do, I can make you to the next level. That's what he told me.
Exactly.
He told me. I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
He said, just trust me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came home one day and I said, look, if I want to go to the next level,
mm-hmm.
I need to do what it takes. And I started hustling to the ball and
absolutely
doing what I need to do. And the rest was history, man.
Well, I tell you, that guy was a hard guy, but he coached everybody the same. And, he had no favorites. I mean, he had favorites. Don't get me wrong, right? But those favorites had to perform.
Yeah.
I mean, if they didn't give it to him,
he
was going to treat you like he treat everybody else.
That's right.
So I remember with my group, all right? So my senior year, I don't know if you know this or not. Keith Jones had been a two-time academic All-American. Keith Jones was a real player.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know Keith Jones was a bad boy out there, right?
Yeah. Real physical.
Very physical and intelligent.
Yeah.
And the thing I liked about Keith more than anything, and I had a hard time with this when I got in the league because I never played with many guys like Keith. Keith will always be where he was supposed to be. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
He was a strong safety. Now, I played in Atlanta when I left Florida State for 12 years. So I played with a bunch of guys. Of course, you went to the Steelers. You played with maybe the best strong safety, I know at least in our time, and could be the greatest of all time in Donnie Shell. Right? You played with that guy.
And
Mel Blount. But Keith Jones was always in the right place at the right time. He played intelligent football. So we got 4 games left our senior year. And Jack Stanley. Now, all right, Harvey. I mean, we're done, right? We got 4 games left.
Right.
And Keith quit. He said, I can't take it no more. He quit. And I'm back. I said, man, you can't quit now. We ain't got but 4 games left, man. Come on, man. Yeah. He said, no, I can't do it now. One more day. I can't deal with Coach Stanton now. One more day. I can't do it. And so we got him up to talk to Coach Bowden. Coach Bowden, you know how he is. He'll make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
You'll forget what you went in his office for, right?
Yeah.
And so Keith finished. So even with us at the end, he was still riding us hard. And so I'll never forget what happened. What made him want to quit. You remember when you get a loaf?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so when you get a loaf in the game, what would he make you do when you get a loaf in the game?
Up and down. We had to run the field, run and hit the ground and back and forth.
So that's what y'all did, right?
12 one game.
You had 12?
Yeah.
Harvey, you had 12.
And they throw the ball on the other side, and I looked. He got on me bad. I remember that.
He got you, bro. He got you.
I remember that, man. I remember that. But after that, no more.
No more.
More.
I tell you what he used to get on me about. You know what he used to do? I'm going to be honest with you. He used to ride me just for the sake of riding me, right? So one day he kept saying I was loafing. I said, Coach, how you going to say I'm loafing when I'm passing everybody in the film? I said, I'm not loafing. And I said this. I said, I'm just smooth. And you know that pissed him off, right?
You talk back to him?
I said, I'm smooth. I said, I'm passing everybody, Coach. You can't say I'm not running. I'm passing everybody. Oh, he wanted to get me. He wanted to get me, right? So all I knew was this: I've never had more than 3 in one game. Now I'm gonna get 1 or 2. Everybody you're gonna get 1 or 2 every week.
I don't remember you getting many.
Huh?
I don't remember you getting many.
I didn't get many. I was running to the ball. I was running to that ball now. I was running.
Yeah, I don't remember you getting many.
And in the old day, what they would do in the old day, because we had the regular film, the old 8mm film.
Yeah.
And so what he would do, if they throw a bomb on the right corner, if I don't show up in the frame before we go to the next play, he give me a loaf.
That's right.
How you gonna give me a loaf? My guy could be running a go too.
Yeah.
And then when that ball go over there, you don't see me.
Yeah.
So it was tough on us. But I'm gonna say this though. I'm so thankful that I played for Jack Stanley. And I'm gonna tell you why. He coached us hard. He pushed us.
Yes, he did.
He had his knee in our back, right?
Yes, he did.
And all I can say is this, Harvey. I performed well for him.
Yes.
Right? Now, when I first got in the league, Jerry Glanville was my DB coach. Okay? He was just like Stanton, but with more personality. Right? I mean, he'll make you laugh, but he was pushing the same way. But then they got fired, and I played for a guy who was what they call a player's coach. We didn't have to run to the ball, right? We didn't have to give all that effort. I played okay, but I wasn't playing my best.
Right.
I really wasn't. Then I started to figure out, man. And then in 1984, it happened. Coach Stanton got fired at Florida State. And guess where he ended up?
Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
I remember that. Atlanta. I remember that.
I got 2 more years, bro. I got 2 more years.
Damn.
So and in the pros on top of that. So the guys here didn't like him.
Right.
Because he didn't care about no pros. He wants you to run to that ball.
Now, when I got to Pittsburgh, and I used to run to the ball, the guys said, "Hey, man,
you can't do that.
You can't do that here. You got to save the energy.
You got to save the energy.
Young buck, slow down."
Slow down.
They say, "Oh no, we don't do that up here.
We don't do that up here.
No, you got to save your legs."
Well, that's true, because what I found out, my rookie in Atlanta, we played the Hall of Fame game preseason, right? So we had 5 preseason games my rookie year, and I started every game, and I played pretty much the whole game, all preseason. So right about the 4th, 5th regular season game, Harvey, I was tired, man. I was physically, it was like I was going through the motions. I couldn't go no more. I was so tired, but I was still running to the ball, still doing everything I did in college. You can't play a pro game like you played a college game.
Right.
It's totally different. So let's talk about it. I just know Jack Stanton was a great coach. I know for me, he was a guy that coached the little details. Every play, even in practice, he graded our performance, and he graded our technique.
Right.
And so I remember my technique, man, the form of my technique, I was always low in my back pedal.
Right.
I just saw myself on a picture. I wish I had it up close. A picture of me when I was at Florida State backpedaling, man. My back was down. I was low, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's Jack Stanton right there, right? Jack Stanton all the way. But so in 1983, you ended up, you started for at FSU for a couple of years, and then you came out and you were an undrafted free agent for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Now, when you went to Pittsburgh, back in 1983. Talk about some of the guys. Just tell me who was on the defensive side of the ball when you got to Pittsburgh in 1980.
The closest guy I was to, believe it or not, was Mel Blunt.
Mel Blunt.
Donnie Shell. Donnie Shell was I think he was like the deacon of the team.
He's
go to his house and we fellowshipped and we did all sorts of things. Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, oh man, he was deep.
Wow. Wow.
And,
now
Dwayne Woodruff was on the other side.
Okay. All right.
And he's an attorney now in Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah, Dwayne Woodruff.
Wow. Okay.
He's on the other side. Then they had Rick Woods.
Okay.
And he played safety.
Mm-hmm.
But I played 1 year with Jack Lambert.
You played with Jack Lambert? Okay.
I played 1 year with Jack Lambert. I don't know if you remember Gary Dunn. Gary Dunn with University of Miami.
Yeah, I remember Gary Dunn. Wow.
And I played with some legends, man.
So who was up front? Was LC still there? LC?
He was gone.
He was gone? What
Gary was there. Keith Willis was there.
Okay.
Keith Gary. He was at Oklahoma.
So Keith Gary came out with me. Yep, he came out with me. And
I think he went Canadian and came over later.
He came back, yeah, because him and David Overstreet both did that.
That's right.
Yeah, they both went to Canada for a year, and then they came back to the NFL.
And Keith Willis, I think Keith Willis played about 12 years there.
Wow, okay.
He was in the small college guy.
Yeah.
He did well.
Wow. But,
so
who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback in '83, your rookie year?
Terry Bradshaw.
Bradshaw was still there, right?
1 year.
What about Franco? Was he still there?
Franco. I used to go to Franco's house all the time. I was number 32. He was number 32. I was number 33.
33, that's right.
Locker mates.
Wow.
So they put you in by number, and we were locker mates, and we used to talk all the time.
Wow.
I couldn't believe some of the days that I was sitting next to him. Franco Harris, legend,
man.
Yeah, legend. We used to talk all the time, man. Those guys brought me in, man. So
hey, man.
To their house, and we was going out.
That's cool, man.
It was a really good time, man. It was once in a lifetime opportunity I had.
Well, you went to a great organization, and you also played for a great owner.
Yeah. Oh man. They ended up calling me Little Chief.
Little Chief.
He loved baseball, and I love baseball.
Wow.
We go to baseball games together.
Really?
Oh yeah. He would come and pick me up.
Wow.
The one with the cigar.
What? Yeah. Oh man, see, that's special.
Yeah. Look, they used to call me Little Chief because we used to go to baseball game together.
Wow.
They'd have a car come and pick us up, take us to the game, bring us back. We sit in the bar. Oh yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's
crazy. Go to the games all the time. The Pirates, they wasn't that good. But they used to see me and him walking together, and everybody get on me the next day. Ain't nothing I could do, man, because I love baseball. He loved baseball.
Wow, that's amazing. See, it's amazing, man, when we sit home, right? I remember this. When I was at Florida State, I loved the Dallas Cowboys. I grew up a Cowboy fan, right?
Right.
Even though I grew up in South Florida and the Dolphins were winning everything when I was a kid. But I had a crazy experience. I'm not going to go into it. Maybe I'll tell you off the air. I had a crazy experience with Don Shula as a little kid.
Wow. At
Paris World in Dania, Florida. I'll never forget it like it was last night. And so from that point on, I didn't like the Dolphins, right?
Wow.
And but I love Bob Hayes. And Roger Staubach played quarterback the way I like to see quarterback being played, right? Because I grew up a quarterback my whole life. Right. And so I love Dwayne Thomas. And then when Calvin Hill showed up, so I was a Cowboy fan. I was a Cowboy fan growing up. And so when Lynn Swann caught that ball on the sideline, up in the air, he jumped in the air and took the ball on the sideline, and they beat Dallas in that Super Bowl, I was hot. From that day forward, I wanted to play against Lynn Swann. I used to get mad when I see him. I didn't even know the guy. He didn't know, of course, he didn't even know nothing about me. Yeah. But I was building up this rage against Lynn Swann. So my rookie year, Harvey, we played the Steelers in Atlanta. And I'm playing left corner. And I'm playing against Lynn Swann the whole day. Because back then, I don't know why, but the Steelers, the Rams, there were a few teams that never swapped the receivers from side to side. They just stayed on one side.
Wow.
You know, Lynn Swann, I never lined up against the Monster. I never lined up against the Monster. I call him the Monster because he was the monster in the room, right? Right. That dude was real.
He was really good, man.
He was really good because your rookie year, we played you guys up in Pittsburgh, and I was playing nickel. And so I played against him. I was playing bump on the line with him on the slot. And, man, he was physical.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my hands full, right? Yeah. And he knew I was lighting the draws, so he was coming at me with all the physicality that he had, right? Right. And I'm doing everything I can to keep my nose, keep my nose in there and play. John Stallworth was a bad boy. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. And so
Christian guy too, man.
Oh, was it really?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh wow, that's awesome right there. And so you got those two guys that you're practicing against all the time, Swan, Stallworth. Who else they had playing receiver behind those two?
Well, Louis Lips came.
Louis Lips was special now.
Yeah, Louis Lips. He just got inducted to the Pittsburgh Hall of Fame.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Louis Lips.
Louis Lips. Now, did he go to Southern Miss?
Yes, he did. I played against him in college.
Okay.
That's when they had Reggie Collier.
Yeah.
They running that wing T or whatever they was running.
Yeah, I remember.
That was my junior year.
Yep, I remember because we played them every year almost.
Now I think we drafted Wayne Capers.
Wayne Capers, that's right.
He was out of South Miami. He went to Kansas.
Okay.
That was my roommate. So
really,
picture this. My rookie year, we went to camp, and they put you in by alphabetical order.
Right.
Wayne Capers was number 2 pick.
Okay.
I was a free agent.
Right.
Now, if they knocked on the door, I know who they come to get. They come to get him.
They coming to get him, right?
The Turk was coming to get me.
Oh my God.
So I said, look, they knocked on the doors all the way around, but they didn't knock on that door.
Amen.
And I used to tell my mom all the time, I said, Mom, they don't cut no second round draft choice.
Oh no.
So they knock on the door.
They're coming for me.
But they never came by.
Well, Harvey, one of the things I can say about you, and the first time I saw you in camp at Florida State, I noticed immediately that you had great feet and great technique. And so that's always been my judge when it comes to especially cornerbacks, right?
Yeah.
I used to watch the Falcons draft a guy. We drafted a lot of corners high over my 12-year career. We drafted a guy from Clemson in the second round, I think 83 or 84. And I saw his footwork, and I go, he ain't gonna make it. I think he was there a year.
Wow.
But over the years, I would see those guys. I said, man, where did he find these guys? These high picks, they didn't have no feet, right? They were clumsy. And some of them played in conferences that back in the day, when you played out there in that conference with Nebraska, all they did was tackle people.
Yeah. I
mean, it wasn't a passing conference, man.
No.
Oklahoma was running the wishbone. Oklahoma State was running the veer, and they were playing again and getting. We had a kid, we had drafting kids in the first round from that school, and they just didn't make it. Now, first day of practice, I look at what kind of feet they had. That told me the story. So when I first saw you at camp at Florida State, I noticed, oh, he got good feet. And so when you backpedaling out there, backpedaling, you got plant and drive, your feet will tell the story.
That's right.
It will tell the story. And believe it or not, that's why we all played a long time.
Yeah. But see, I could tell you, and I know you don't want to believe this. I studied you.
Okay.
And I always want to have the feet you had.
Okay.
And I used to watch you. And I used to watch you work.
Wow.
And I used to always say, that's how I want to play before I leave here. I said it all the time.
Wow. And, I appreciate that, man.
Just like him. You'll be just like him, but you got to work. He used to tell me, you got to work.
You got to work. But it's amazing how you say that, because when I saw Bo Jack now, I want to be just like them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's that next thing. And then before Bo Jack, they had a guy named Gary Wolford. There's some DBs that a lot of people at Florida State forget about. They had a guy named Gary Wolford. He was drafted. He played in the league for a few years. Real smooth. But Bo Jack learned from him. And then I learned from Bo Jack and Ivory Joe. And then here you go. And then next thing you know, Dion them there.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, don't forget about Martin Mayhew.
Oh, man. I remember Martin Mayhew when I was at Florida State. I can see him right now. I was running track at Florida State. And, he went to Florida High, which is right there on the
Yeah.
And he ran track. And he would be on the track the same time we were practicing.
Yeah.
He was real quiet. He was a humble kid, right?
Yeah.
And I see him in an FSU uniform. I go, oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He was a bad dude.
Yeah. But see, all of us, we was small. We didn't pass the eye test.
We did not pass
the eye test. Like,
that's right.
Nah, no, guys, I know. Guys ask me all the time, you don't play for FSU.
Right.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
But once I put the helmet on and put that mouthpiece on,
oh man,
it's time to go. It's go time now.
It's time to go.
It's time to person come out.
Bruh, it's time to go. And Harvey, you were a physical corner too.
I thought I was.
Well, no, you were physical. I mean, you came up and you did your work. You did your work and you did it well.
Yeah.
And so, but we always had those guys. Yeah. And so one of the things that we talk about, that I get in arguments, I don't argue much, but when you start talking like this and don't respect FSU, you start talking about DBU, we're going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
If you don't name me, our team. Because as good as Miami's had some great players.
Yeah.
Who are not DBU.
Yeah.
I mean,
those guys, I used to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Miami, those guys, they don't have to cover but what, 3 seconds, 4 seconds? They had that front line, man.
They had that front. Always had a front.
You think about the line they had there.
Always had a front.
Warren Sappino guys. You don't have to cover long.
You ain't got to cover long.
My nephew played for University of Miami, Antrell Rowe.
Oh, he was nice.
Yeah, Antrell Rowe. That's my nephew.
He was nice.
Yeah, that's my sister's son.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he ended up playing 10, 11 years.
He played a long time.
Yeah, he's here.
So, Harvey, so when you came out of high school, I know Miami was all over you.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to come to Florida State? What made you make this?
I believe it or not, I thought I was going to Florida.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And they can't put me on probation now. Florida had this car for me.
Mm-hmm.
At a Cordova. I go and pick up if I sign with Florida.
Right.
But Willie Jones had an alumni that took care of Willie Jones.
Right.
Frank Sapp was his name.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember him.
I don't remember him.
He took care of me and Willie Jones.
Okay.
He said, you don't have to go to Florida. I could do the same thing with Florida.
That's right.
So he took care of us.
Absolutely.
And, we can't go on probation now, so I can say what I want to say.
Hey,
good, man.
Hey, so tell me about your relationship before you came to FSU with Willie Jones.
Well, Willie, he was always kind of big time once he made the FSU.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like his little brother.
Mm-hmm.
When he was at his senior year, I come up, he used to let me stay with him. He'd give me his car, he'd go and do things, and he took care of me too. Willie took care of me.
Man.
So he was a good guy too, man. Willie
Jones.
Yeah, good guy.
Willie Jones, great guy, great football player, man. I mean, those guys we had up front, man, when I first got to Tallahassee, man, those guys were no joke. Because you take a line, see what we did, we took a linebacker that came in with me. A lot of people don't know Ron Simmons was a linebacker in high school.
Wow.
Now, can you imagine Ron Simmons playing middle linebacker?
Wow.
He can outrun almost everybody, but he's standing up and running the ball down.
Wow.
I mean, you think about that. So we take him, who's a linebacker, and we put him in front of the center with his speed and his strength. Because he was bench over 550 when he was 18 years old.
Wow.
So we came in together, man. When I saw Ron, I thought Ron was an upperclassman. I didn't know.
Me too.
I thought he was an upperclassman, and he came in the freshman locker room, Harvey, and I saw him. And I'm like, why he in here? So I said, man, the upperclassman locker room over there, right? He didn't say nothing. So he in his locker. I said, man, how old are you? He said, I'm 18. I go, what? And so, he came in, he started day one. He was a starter day one.
Well, so, I remember when they recruited me. And they said, we want you to meet Ron Simmons.
Oh, absolutely.
So I said, Ron Simmons, I never heard of him.
Right.
So I went over there. He was in his locker room, and he had his shirt off. He had his towel around him, and I shook his hand. I said, "That must be somebody's dad." "Oh, he's a freshman." I said, "What?" I said, "That got to be somebody's dad."
What's about that?
"No, he's a freshman." I'm like, "A freshman?"
Yeah, he was big. And,
yeah, I remember that.
He was an amazing guy. And I'm gonna say this about him. I mean, we've had a lot of great recruits over the years, right? But he's got to be the most
polarizing,
the most important recruit we had for that time.
Yeah.
Because now you got him in. I mean, we didn't do bad recruiting, right? But we got him in. Now we can really pull some other kind of guys in, while we're recruiting. When you got a guy playing on that level like that, because the dude was a beast, man. He was an absolute beast.
Excellent college football player.
Oh, so then a lot of people don't know this. Jimmy Higgins, who moved from Jimmy Higgins was the nose guard the year before Ron got there. And they moved Jimmy back in the middle, him and Aaron Carter.
Right.
You know AC?
Yes. Yes, I remember AC.
Let me tell you if you know this or not. This might shock you, unless you know it. To this day, was it 2022? Now, we've had a lot of great linebackers come through Florida State, right? Shade Tree, right? Shade Tree probably the most recognized middle linebacker, Marvin Jones, to ever play at Florida State. But do you know Aaron Carter is still the all-time leading tackler in FSU history?
I didn't know that.
AC, to this day, he's still the all-time leading tackler.
5'8", 5'9".
5'8", 5'9". And he probably weighed about 200 or maybe 195 when he played.
Wow.
So I played 1 year with him, man. Harvey, he was unbelievable.
I know that.
He was Tom Jackson. Think about Tom Jackson when he played at Denver.
Right.
He was the same guy.
Right.
He can outrun everybody. And when he laid a lick on you, it was like he was 240.
Wow. I remember seeing him come to the facilities a couple of times.
Special guy.
I remember him.
Special guy.
I remember all those guys, man.
He was a special guy.
Yeah.
And so Willie Jones, y'all came from, did y'all go to the same high school, you and Willie?
We went to the same high school.
Okay.
South State Senior High School.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. The same high school. He went, I think he went 76 or 70.
Mm-hmm. I think Willie like 2 years ahead of me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he 2 years ahead of me. Right, because I remember when he played in the Senior Bowl, what he had like, he was an MVP in the Senior Bowl. What he had, 6 or 7 sacks in the game?
6 sacks.
In the game.
Yeah, and then he won that Jeep.
He won that Jeep, and you and I, he should let me and you drive that thing around.
That's right.
You remember that?
That's right.
We should drive that Jeep around Tallahassee, man, like we were the MVP of the game.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Willie was a great dude, man. Yeah. He was a great dude. So all right, so you want to go to Florida, right? I think most of us did at one time. I know I did.
Yeah.
I know I did, because Florida was recruiting me to play quarterback. And when I was a kid, I used to watch Don Gaffney play. I love Don Gaffney, right? And, he's about my size. I felt like, shoot, if he can do it, I can do it, right? And so, but I'm glad I didn't make that decision, right?
Right.
We made the right decision, hands down.
Right.
I didn't go to Miami because Miami, two things about Miami. The reason I didn't go, first of all, they almost lost their football program. They were talking about getting rid of the football program for whatever reason. So I kept hearing that. And I'm like, nah, I can't go down there. But then, Harvey, I went down there with O.J. Anderson one spring. He's from my area.
Yeah, I played with him at the Giants when I was at the Giants.
That's right. That dude crazy, man.
Yeah.
So OJ was down there, and I used to go down there for spring practice a lot with Coach Roger Coffey, my boy Larry Coffey dad, right? Who's coaching
about you.
Yeah, who's coaching at Northwestern.
Yeah.
Man, I went down. I would go down there in the spring, man. I shake my head because, man, it was nothing but trouble out there, man. I said, I can't come down here. I'll lose my mind out here, man. And so, for me, it was no stability. It was just wide open. So, when I met Coach Stanton, I never forget it. He never smiled at me. He was just stern with me, right?
Yeah.
And I was coached like that in Pop Warner, and I was coached like that in high school. So, that said a lot. And then Bo Jack and Ivory Joe. Ivory Joe, when I met Ivory Joe, I really started to fall in love with Florida State. And then when I met Coach Bowden, my first meeting with Coach Bowden was a special meeting. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Harvey, when I met him, me and my parents, I didn't understand at the time why I was feeling the way I was feeling after I came out of the meeting. But I turned to my mom and I told my mom straight up, I want to play for him. And my mom was like, you can't make that decision now. You got to go on all your visits and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I said, Mom, I'm telling you, I want to play for that guy. Now, Harvey, I didn't go to a game. I didn't hear his pregame speech. We drove to Tallahassee the night after we played the state championship game my senior year. We played it in Ocala. We got in the car, me and my parents, and drove straight to Tallahassee after the game. Got in the Holiday Inn right there on Tennessee Street, right?
Yeah.
Stayed in the hotel and had a meeting with Coach Bowden 8 a.m. the next morning. No fanfare, no student body on the campus. Everybody was going home for the holidays. But Ivory Joe, being from Tallahassee, was still up there in the apartment complex.
Right.
In apartment number 3.
Right.
and so I had a good time. And so I really I fell in love with him because what he was saying to me, I felt like he was telling me the truth.
Now I could tell you when he came down to visit me, he came down and my mom, she loved to cook. So he cooked dinner. Bowden came down and he had dinner with us. Now check this out. My mom had neck bones, black-eyed peas, and rice. And he sat at the table and he ate with us.
He went to work, didn't
he? He went to work. He said, Miss Emma, these some good neck bones. My mom said, I love that guy. And from then on,
it was a wrap.
That's where I'm going.
Well, he had a way with in the home.
Yeah.
Like no other guy. I mean, he was special because he was down to earth but see, one of the things that people don't understand about Coach Bowden, well, you got to understand that he's from Alabama.
Right.
So in Alabama, he ate country food, which ain't no soul food.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, he ate country food. So he was right at home with them neck bones.
Yeah.
And collard greens.
Take a plate with him.
And took a plate with him?
Yeah.
Oh, your mama loved him.
Yeah.
She loved him. Oh, my God. That man made such an impact on my family that when my dad, before he got sick, if he was within 2 hours of my hometown, my daddy was there to hear him speak.
Wow.
He would get my brother-in-laws to drive him, no matter where Coach Bowden was.
Wow.
Because one of the things he did, and matter of fact, my grandmother, Harvey, on her dying bed, the last time I saw my grandmother, all she wanted to talk about was Bobby Bowden.
Yeah.
On her deathbed, she was talking about Coach Bowden and how well he treated her when she came to Tallahassee, because he invited them over to the house one day.
Yeah.
And he had dinner with them. And so he was just so personable like that. He really cared for people. And when he told you, his word was his bond. His word was his bond. And so, and he treated us all like we were his own children.
My mom, she never would fly. And she drove up and we went in Bowden's office. She went and talked to him and she took pictures with him. It was like at home.
Right at home, man. Right at home.
That was Bowden.
Man,
that was Bowden.
Hey, all the way. So Harvey, let's get back. I want to get back to the Steelers real quick. When you were in Pittsburgh, you played with Mel Blount. Mel Blount changed the game as far as cornerback play is concerned in the NFL. We all know that. there's a Mel Blount rule that changed the game. But I'm so thankful for Mel Blount because that rule allowed guys like me and you to participate in the game.
Right.
Because when they changed that bumper run rule where you can't touch a guy but one time in the first 5 yards, they weren't looking for nobody to beat a receiver up down the field. They're looking for a guy who can jam and cover all over the field. So I'm thankful for that. But you play with all those guys. You played with Lambert one year. You played with Donnie Shell. You played with some great NFL Hall of Famers. Played with Bradshaw, Franco Harris,
Stallworth,
John Stallworth, my doggone Lynn Swan. But your DB coach. Let's talk about your DB coach. Who was the young DB coach who coached you in this Pittsburgh Steelers?
A guy by the name of Tony Dungy.
Tony who?
Dungy.
Tony Dungy. Coach Dungy was a DB coach.
Good guy, man. Very good guy. Christian guy. Him and Dennis Phil, I think that's his god.
Really?
Yeah, I think his godson or something like that. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Well, I tell you, I always had a lot of respect for Coach Dungy, because, your reputation with procedure and, he's just a strong man of God, but a great coach. And so when I look back, Harvey, I didn't really know the real connection between me and Coach Boughton. I was just young. I just know I fell in love with the guy. But he was so much like my dad. That was part of the draw. Because my dad was a pastor, right?
Right.
Who was funny, always kept you in stitches, right? And, Coach Boughton had a great sense of humor.
Right.
And so that was part of the draw. But I just remember he's the only coach that I've ever had in my life that never cursed.
Dan Gammett.
He had his own little he had his own little words, but he never cursed. And I've been playing ball since I was 9 years old, getting cussed out when I was 9 years old, right? 10 years old, 11 years old, getting cursed out. But he just had a way about it. And so it showed me, it don't really take all that to motivate and move and inspire some kids to do some things that they might necessarily not want to do to become what they want to be, right?
Now, you think those coaches can survive now?
Coach Bowden?
Yeah, those coaches that.
Well, I think they can survive more now. Well, the guys who, let me say this, the guys, it'll be hard for guys to coach now like Jerry Glanville.
Yeah. Like
Coach Stanton. It'll be hard for them to coach because now kids, you can't talk to them a certain way.
That's right.
Right? They soft. They get their feelings hurt.
That's right.
They might quit. You and I, you can cuss us out, but we understood and you really couldn't hurt our feelings. I mean, we get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You wasn't going to hurt my feelings, because the next play, he might curse Ron Simmons out.
That's right.
Right? So it was that balance. We had to do our job.
Right.
That's the one thing I understood about Florida State. Jackson, you had to do your job.
Yeah.
And then when you had everybody collectively together doing their job, bro, you don't miss a beat.
Right.
Especially on defense running that ball, especially in college, when the game was, especially in our time, when the game was really about a wishbone option or a veer. And so we had to get that.
Well, now the game is so different now.
It's so different.
You got a defensive back making $15 million. You got a coach making $2 million.
$2 million.
You can't tell a guy what to do.
You can't tell him what to do.
You might be out of a job.
Thank you. Just like that.
Yeah, you might be out of a job. These guys are different these days.
It's a different day. So it comes back, Harvey, for me to say, well, how do you relate to him? You got to be able to relate to him. You got to be able to relate to him some kind of way. How can I move this guy to do what I need him to do? Or is he just going to do what he want to do?
Well, I heard Dion said recently he don't want to coach professional. He said because those guys are too difficult to coach.
They're too difficult to coach. Too difficult to coach.
Personalities.
Man, I remember
in college.
I remember when I was in the league, when Andre Rison came to the Falcons. He talked to his position coach so bad one day. I went to the position coach myself and said, you can't let him talk to you like that.
Wow.
Bro, I said, you can't let him do that. And I went to him. You know, Andre from Flint, right?
Yeah.
And if folks from Florida don't know what Flint, Michigan is, like Liberty City, right?
Right.
It's like Compton, right? And so, you know, he was a kid, he was a great athlete, but you know, he's a hothead at the same time. And so, you know, me and Dre were really close because his rookie year he played for the Colts, right?
I remember that.
And so that was Deion's rookie year. And so this is my 9th season. I was an old veteran. And so I would notice in the film, Harvey, that when he came out of the huddle, he'll be on the line of scrimmage and he'll be turned to the sidelines with a quarterback barking out the signals. He'll be turned to the sideline screaming at the sideline. Man, what is he doing? And then I picked it up. He's screaming at them because they're not throwing the ball.
Wow.
Well, we get in the game, and I'm lined up against him, and he started screaming at the sideline. And so I started playing with him then. I said, bro, they're not going to throw you the ball as long as I'm covering you. I said, you might well forget it. So next thing you know, I got him Joe jacking with me. He done forgot about the game. All he want to do is come at me. And we going at it verbally, right? Wow. I took him out of his game. He caught one ball that day for like a 3-yard slant on me. The next year, he ended up in Atlanta, and I sat him down. I said, boy, I was all up in your head. I said, you couldn't catch a ball. I said, at that point, I couldn't run a 4.7 40. But you couldn't catch a ball on me because all you wanted to do was come at me.
Right.
I said, you can't do that. I said, you got to be focused and concentrated on your job and what you got to do. Right. And so, you know, that's the main thing about the game. How would I be able to motivate kids today? How can I move them to excellence? Right. You know, and
it's difficult now. If a kid don't like it, he gonna transfer. He won't stay.
What do you do with that, man?
He's in high school now.
No, what do you do with that?
You know, if they don't like your program, they go to the next school.
They go to the next school.
Yeah.
And in Florida, the state of Florida high school, you can play anywhere you want to.
That's right. You
don't even have to stay in the district no more, right?
Oh, you have the transportation.
All you gotta do is be able to get there.
Yeah, be able to get there.
NIL might buy somebody a helicopter one day.
Yeah, in high school.
Think about it. You get a real 5-star. Oh, we can helicopter him in.
That's right.
That's crazy, man.
Yes.
It's absolutely crazy. Well, we live in a different time. That's for sure. Well, man, I tell you one thing I say, Harvey. Thank you for coming on the show with us tonight, man. You, I'll never forget you, man. We had a great relationship. Yeah, I never forget none of the guys. None of the guys I played with, but especially guys in the secondary, man. We were all close, man.
Yeah.
And I brag. Well, one of the things I've always been guilty of, I brag on Florida State. I brag on our guys, man, all the time. When I was in Atlanta, my rookie year, I used to dog everybody in the locker room because we beat everybody.
Right.
Nobody in the locker room beat us. So 81, I was talking noise. 82, I was talking noise. 83, I was talking noise. And then in 84, we drafted 3 dudes from Oklahoma. I had to shut up.
Yeah.
Hot Case came in 84. Rick Bryant came in 84. And I can't talk no more, right?
I remember.
But I'm proud to have had you as a teammate, man. I mean, we had a great couple years together in college, man. And then when you went to Pittsburgh, man, I always had my eye on you, watching what you was doing in games. If we got you guys tapes, I was always watching. I was always proud. And, we're part of that great fraternity, man, DB University.
For life.
Man, for life, man. It's so many of us.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for inviting me, man. I really appreciate it.
Man, bro, thank you
very much.
Yeah, I wouldn't have no other way. One of these days, I got to get me, you, Skull, and Ivory Joe, all of us and Bo Jack, all of us right there got to come on together.
Yeah, I like that to happen.
The corners. We'll make that happen soon.
Yeah, make it happen. I love for that to happen.
Awesome, man.
I don't wait too late now.
No.
Happy birthday.
Huh? Hey, so your birthday, April or May?
April 4th.
April 4th. That's right. I knew it was 1 month. We were close together, so I'm in the May, right?
Yeah.
And so, oh man, bro, you almost Social Security age, not that.
That's right. That's right.
I'm gonna get mine before you get yours.
Good afternoon. You getting there too?
I'm gonna get mine before you get yours, though.
Right.
For sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for tonight. Hey, thank you again, Harvey Clayton. We didn't even get a chance to talk about your son, right?
No, well, he's at University of Maine now.
He's in Maine now?
Yeah.
Is he 6'2", Harvey?
Yeah.
Man, what happened to our kids, man? They all grow past us, right?
He passed the eye test.
He passed the eye test.
Yeah, we looked at him like, what the? Yeah.
Wow. So he's doing well up there?
This season is horrible.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So they're like 2-9, and they start playing freshmen, and they like.
Right. Yeah,
He's gonna get his master's. So
awesome, man.
All good. That's all good.
That's what it's all about, right there. Yeah. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the show, comment, share it with your friends. This is your host, Bobby Butler, and this is our Legends segment at 100 Yards of Football with my great guest, Mr. Harvey Clayton. Harvey, thank you again, buddy.
Thank you.
Go Noles.